This is great, Steve. Thank you.
Sure didn't think I'd be having lunch with you.
Well, I'm glad I caught Mother before you two left my apartment.
I wasn't aware that Lee uses you as his delivery boy. Excuse me, delivery person.
It happened to be a coincidence. He needed Mother for a strategy meeting with Sebastian.
So I lose her as a lunch mate and win you.
Try to bridle your enthusiasm, please. So, what are you having?
Shrimp, I think.
Fried?
Yes, and hold your lecture on grease.
Fine. It's your complexion. Besides, I have a more important lecture waiting.
Come on, Amber, let's set some goals in this conversation.
Such as?
How about agreeing that we won't be at each other's throat until after the check comes?
You're the one who always loses her cool.
That's not true.
Look, I don't want an argument. I just want you to hear something.
What?
Call it an ultimatum.
Oh, Eric, won't you be surprised when your mother comes to answer your letter in person? Daddy, okay, I'm hurrying just as fast as I can. What do you expect? Can't get to England even. No, don't do this. Don't come in here.
You gonna give me away? Well?
You look so tired. You look different.
Yeah. I've been sleeping on cement floors and stealing food to eat.
I'm really very sorry about that.
Sorry? Improve it.
I can't give you any money.
You can't give me any money. What are you talking about? It's... When I was gonna kill you in Redlawn, you're ready to give me your father's ransom.
Yeah, but that was a lot different then, because but now the only money I have is what I have in my purse for my trip.
Trip? What trip? Where?
I'm going to England to pick up my son and bring him back here.
Your son?
Yeah.
I made that possible for you to see your son.
I know.
I went out on a limb.
I know.
And don't
yes.
think just because you got out that I got out on top.
Okay, just
because I didn't.
Leave here, would you?
When you got your freedom, I lost mine.
Okay, why don't you go to the police? Because they'll help you. They will, and then in time, they will give you back your freedom.
They're gonna give me back my father? Yeah, I thought so. You know, he sent me out to kill you in Redland. He couldn't see another way. For me, the choice was clear. It was either you two or him. Because I knew he'd get busted or worse if you got out.
No. See, the choice was between what was right and what was wrong, not between your father or us.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sure, great. Uh-huh. I did what's right. Now look what's happened.
I don't owe you for the rest of my life. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that came out all wrong.
I'm not talking about a lifetime. I'm talking about today. Just $500, $400. That's all. Just enough to get me out of Kingsley. I promise I won't bother you again.
I want you to stop badgering Mother about Dave.
I'm not. I'm informing her.
Well, she doesn't want to be informed, and that's called badgering.
She's very interested whenever I bring up his name.
Don't you see she's trying to be polite? Can't you see that?
No. When she doesn't want to hear about him, she comes right out and tells me.
Fine. Half the time she's being polite, the other half she's being honest.
Has it ever occurred to you that she's just trying to look disinterested whenever you're around, so that you won't start running Dad down?
Come on. The only reason you don't understand Mother's reaction is that you've never been there yourself.
What?
Come on, you've never had a lover. You've never even had a boyfriend.
My personal life has nothing to do with this.
It has everything to do with it. You're on the outside looking in.
How can you say that? I saw Mom and Dad in love with each other all their life. I was a part of that family. I was a part of their love.
Right, exactly. Years ago, a little girl's remembrance of Mommy and Daddy. If you had ever had a romantic love firsthand and then lost that love, you would know how cruel it is to hear day-by-day reports of the man that you're trying to forget.
Amber, sometimes she asks me about Dad. She asks me.
And do you know why, Stacy?
Excuse me.
It's wonderful.
Delicious.
Because you've piqued her curiosity. She is trying to let go of memories of Dave, but you won't let her. And so, she gives in. She asks, and she takes 2 steps forward and 3 steps backward because of you. You have no conception of what this is like.
Stop saying that.
It's hard to face, isn't it?
What I'm facing are the childhood memories you were running from. Remember how we both used to crawl into our parents' bed on Saturdays? Do you remember how cold their wood floor was on winter mornings and the warmth in their bed?
Yes, I remember that. But you're wrong. It was you and me and Kevin.
Oh, yes. The shield you throw up whenever you start remembering Dad as a loving father.
If you want to face some memories, Stacy, remember that accident. We should have been killed right along with Kevin.
And you cling to that fact just so you can hide from the rest. You fight Dad with all the hatred of a spoiled teenager, and that's just what you are. Because you stopped growing on the night of that accident. You paralyzed everything in you with a memory. Well, life's gone on, and so has Dad. You keep your ultimatum. If you had any true sense of the past, any perspective, you'd see that I'm not trying to create a love between Mom and Dad. Only reawaken it.
You think I'm just some poor boy that got sucked in all this? Well, I'm not. I made a choice. I made it myself. Sure, I wasn't involved in the kidnapping, but I've seen things far worse. I watched a man die.
Okay, I'm not ignoring any of... Blue.
What's he to you?
Blue Nobles, you... It was like the only little bit of sunlight in my life when I was stuck out in that blockhouse. He'd bring me my meals. He became like a friend. He was like a little child. What did you do to him? What happened?
Well, Ron found out that he was wanted for trying to rape Lori. He sent me to kill him.
You murdered Blue Nobles.
No. That's not how it went. Now, I went looking for Blue, and I wanted to kill him. But I couldn't, Marianne. He jumped me, and he got a hold of the gun, and it went off. If you think that the police will believe that, then I might as well just leave now.
I was praying for him.
Yeah, well, your prayers may have worked. He whispered the name Jesus before he died.
You did?
Yeah, he said something about, I'm sorry. Look, if you won't lend me the money, okay, fine. Can you do me a favor? Can you get a message to Marianne for me, please?
Yeah, I'd be glad to do that.
Yeah. Tell her that I love her. And I need to see her in the next day or two.
Yeah, I'll tell her that. Thank you, Russ. What?
Who's that? Who's coming over?
I don't know. Who is it?
It's me, Miriam. I know. I just want to put my I ain't seen you before. Marianne, who was that?
Well, what's this, a new boss?
I always sit in this desk when I want to think. Besides, it reminds me of Dad.
Oh, well, Gil's gonna be up in just a second, so you might have to vacate.
Where were you, the Canterbury?
Yeah. Hey, you know, I've noticed something about Spring. The guys work a lot harder. You don't have to yell at them as much.
But Gil still does, right?
Oh, yeah, especially at that site. Okay, Miss Prescott, talk to Dr. Davidson. Tell him what you're thinking.
The role of Gil Prescott is now being played by Michael Hunter.
I want to get away.
Oh, yeah? To where?
I think to North Carolina, to be with my dad.
Yeah, well, everybody needs a vacation.
No, I'm not talking about a vacation. I want to get away for good.
Somebody's been sitting in my chair here.
So, you're leaving?
Wait a minute, I just said I was thinking about it.
What? You don't have enough to do around here? Well, I could take care of that.
Gil, I have been living in this town all my life. I need a change. Besides, I miss Dad.
I need you here.
Come on, you get about 3 applications a week for interior designers.
I'm not talking about Marianne, the employee. I'm talking about you, my sister.
Well, he admitted it. Come on, you're my witness.
Let's not make fun of this. I know I don't listen to every word that you say, but I do need you here to hear you say it.
Yeah, things would be awful quiet around here without you.
Come on, you guys. You're not even trying to see my side of the story.
I know what this is all about. It's Russ, right?
Gil, aren't you the one who's always telling me forget about Russ? Well, how can I forget about Russ here in Kingsley? I mean, whenever I go to Leon's to eat, I remember that we used to eat there. And every morning on the way to work, I passed by his apartment.
I hear what you're saying, but who was it that said that I shouldn't run away from my own problems?
Well, that's different.
Why?
Because that's inside of you. You can't run away from it. Now, I know that I am over Russ. I'll be all right if I could just avoid the reminders.
Peter, could you talk some sense into her?
I don't know what I can say. I know what it's like to try to get over someone. Being with Mr. Prescott might help.
Thanks, Peter. That's enough.
Thank you, Peter.
That doesn't mean I want you to leave. Now, I don't know where I come off giving you spiritual advice, but it seems like I'm always arguing with God. Look, maybe God wants to use you to reach out to Russ. He's in trouble.
And besides, if you do go down there, what's to prevent that idiot from following you? And I won't be there to protect you.
Oh, he wouldn't do that.
Why not? Lay low for a while, a new job, a new town, you there by his side. It's ideal for him.
Marianne, he's desperate.
A desperate idiot. Now, come on. Let's forget all this North Carolina nonsense, huh?
I won't make any rash decisions. But I'm still going to think about it.
And he said that Blue whispered the name of Jesus right before he died. And he said, I'm sorry.
Oh, praise the Lord.
I own God was redeeming that whole awful time in the Black House for his own purposes. And if I hadn't been there, Blue would have never heard about Jesus.
Oh, and he would have never come to the Lord. I tell you, Miriam, when I see the hand of God in a situation like that, I just want to keep my mouth closed and never complain about a situation again.
I wonder what Blue's like in heaven. I bet he doesn't stutter anymore. I think I'll tell Lori about this.
Oh, well, now, I think about that first. I'm afraid we don't forgive nearly so joyfully as the Lord most times.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. You know, every time I'd say Jesus around Blue, he would get so angry, and I thought I would never get through to him. In fact, at the end, I just gave up.
But you see, God didn't. Just like you did with Eric. And you're going to see that child real soon again.
That's right. I can't wait. You know, I have been thinking about that. I've been imagining for all these months. I wonder if he's changed or he looks different or what.
Oh, he's probably a lot taller and speaks with an English accent.
Oh, do you think so? Yes, that's right. He's probably saying, Mother, please come join me at the pheasant shoot.
Oh, I hope he's not as cultured as that just yet.
Meanwhile, I wonder what effect Paul has had on him. I mean, I really do wonder what his father has told him about me.
Oh, well, now, Marianne, you must remember you've had him firsthand all those years.
Yeah, but children change when they grow up. I mean, they begin realizing things just like I did when I began reaching my teenage years. You know, I remember seeing my father for the first time, the man I'd been worshiping all my life. Suddenly I saw him as just giving me things in place of his time and attention.
Or you're afraid maybe he's come to some new conclusions about you.
Well, I don't see how he couldn't have.
Well, I don't know. I didn't seem to read any anger in his letter on his part.
I know, but that letter really didn't say much of anything. And besides, he didn't write me back for a long time, so maybe Paul just made him write me. And maybe Eric didn't even want to write me back, so he just put it off.
Oh, Miriam, honey, I'm not going to have you imagining such things.
Okay, I suppose you're right. I shouldn't. It's probably just all my guilt from the way I treated him in the past. But I'm afraid. I'm just afraid.
That he won't love you?
More than that, I'm afraid that he won't see me now, that he won't see the new me. I mean, how am I ever going to convince him that I'm not just trying to con him into staying with me?
Honey, by your actions and not words. And don't worry about that new you. Just show him. And, of course, all this sudden interest, that should tell him something, and Paul, too.
Yeah, I guess that should be a good sign to him.
Oh, of course. And more than what you show and what he sees, you just remember you've got the Lord working to bring you and Eric back together again. And everybody knows that the Lord don't stop with no job half done.
I loved your article about the police athletic league dinner. You actually quoted some of my one-liners from my speech.
Oh, boy, you talk about brutally honest journalism.
Your speech was the highlight of the dinner.
Oh, yeah, great. I was right ahead of 2 food fights and a fake fire drill.
Sounds like those young ones got a little out of hand.
They were celebrating winning the city basketball championship, but Sergeant Brubaker kept them in line.
Yeah, I'm sure you've covered more exciting events.
Don't bet on it.
Listen, I gotta run. Miss Phillips, very nice to see you again.
Stacy, please.
Yes, you can call him sir.
See you, Gene.
Oh, well, it looks like that old ugly cloud has moved in again.
What? What did you just say?
What was just talking about that cloud that you came in under? What happened at lunch?
Mom couldn't make it. I ate lunch with Amber. Only this time I told her everything that was on my mind.
Well, Stacy, that sounds good. So why the big depression?
Who said I was depressed? I'm angry. She didn't listen to anything I said, and then she waited for me to walk out in a huff.
But you didn't, huh?
No, I refused. I thought she'd leave, but she was too stubborn. So we both ate the rest of the meal without saying a word.
One for Stacy.
Gene, I know I'm doing the right thing. All Mom and Dad need is a chance. Just one meeting without Amber or Lee there. Just one. They deserve that much.
Hi, Miriam.
Hi. You all alone?
Yeah, Gil and Peter just left. Why, what's wrong?
I talked to Russ today.
What, did he call you?
No, he came over to see me. Yes, he asked me for money again, and once more I had to say no.
Did he threaten you?
No, nothing like that. In fact, he really looks tired, sort of weak.
I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Well, before I make a decision like that, I think you'd better listen to the message that he gave me for you.
What, is he coming here again?
Marianne, he said that he loves you. Do you have any idea how I felt refusing to give him money? I felt like I was kicking a starving cat off my porch.
Miriam, I feel like that every time I think about him. I'm sorry you had to be the messenger.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Listen, I can't stay anyway. I'm off to England. So give me a hug. Looks like we're both having trouble with the boys in our life, huh? You pray for me?
I promise I will.
And I will pray for you, too. From one side of the Atlantic to the other. Bye-bye.
Everything I wanted for you, and you failed me in it. What am I supposed to do now?
Come on.
No.
I can still make it.
No,
Come on, we
listen.
gotta go. No,
Remember, Lance.